So, yeah, hi peeps, it's Tersse back on the old squat box once again, and yeah, I'm going to be doing a review on The Man of Steel, which I've just watched. I've just finished 30 seconds ago watching The Man of Steel, so let's just get this all sort of framed up, right, because it's very important, you know, unlike Man of Steel. Yeah, I'm only joking. No, I did find the camera work on Man of Steel a little bit twitchy and jumpy, but that's just my view. I'm sure it looked perfectly fine for everybody else. But I've had this is what I don't get. A lot of the reviewers who've reviewed Man of Steel, they've compared it to almost every other Superman movie that's ever been, you know, in existence, you know what I mean? But not only that, but they've compared it to the comic books, they've compared it to the true writings of, you know, the person who invented, you know, Superman. They've compared it to this, they've compared it to that, and I'm thinking, what the fuck, you know what I mean? It's a fucking movie, you know what I mean? And let's face it, I mean, most of the people going to the cinema and watching Man of Steel today, they weren't born in the 1950s when Superman was fucking invented. In fact, it may have been earlier than that, I'm not sure. I don't even know when Superman was invented, but I think it was the 50s, 60s. But I mean, who the fuck reads the 50s and 60s comics now? The 70s comics of Superman? Who watches Superman 1, 2 and 3? You know what I mean? You kidding me? This was a fantastic sci-fi movie. It was brilliant. If you just take it as a standalone movie, it was fucking brilliant. I loved it. The action scenes were fucking fantastic. Yeah, okay, there was a few bits and pieces here and there that were a bit over emotional, considering he was an alien, you know, man who fell to earth and all that, you know, yeah. And yeah, I can see that point. Yeah, you could make that argument that perhaps Superman was a bit over emotional, but who knows, maybe people with Krypton are more French than British, you know what I mean, more democratic than Republican. I'm just saying, you know, maybe they're he's more atheist than Christian. Yeah, this is just my take on it, you know. I don't think Superman, you know, Man of Steel movie 2013 is a terribly bad Superman movie. I thought it was a pretty fucking good Superman movie. Yes, there's lots of nitpicking you could pick on it, like how the fuck does Lois Lane turn up on the spot, you know, just at the right time in every frame, you know what I mean? But then you've got to remember, she's a fucking, you know, an investigative journalist. That's what she does. That's her job. And that's why every time Superman lands on the fucking floor of the earth after being 300 million, you know, miles above the earth fighting somebody, you know, when he crashes to earth after fighting somebody, bang, she's there. It's like she's got a GPS detector and Superman has been bugged, and as soon as he lands and kills somebody or saves somebody, there she is. She's there, you know. Yeah, it's one of those little itsy bitsy things you could, you know, take offence to in the movie, but the movie wouldn't be what it is if Lois Lane couldn't be there, you know. And don't get me wrong, I loved the action, I loved the idea of the you know, the Man of Steel. I loved the flashbacks. There could even have been a few more flashbacks to fill in a bit more of these, you know, teenage football years and in high school and stuff like that. That would have been more sort of fulfilling for me, you know. But yeah, as it was, I was quite comfortable believing in the myth that was the young Superman trying to hide his identity. I think they could have filled that in a bit more though, but you know, I accepted that. It's a movie after all. It's not real. It's not a history of Superman, you know. It's not a, if you excuse the expression, a biography, you know. It's a movie, for fuck's sake. you're supposed to try and suspend your, you know, your was it suspend your disbelief. You know, you're supposed to get into the feel of the thing and just accept some of the bullshit in order to make the movie appear to make sense, you know. And yes, as I say, there's lots of itsy tinny. Sorry, I'm drunk now. There's little itsy bitsy teeny weeny. That's the words I was looking for. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny little, no, there's another word there starting with F. Finio. I can't remember what it's. I'm fucking too drunk. I'm enjoying this fucking, you know, gold tequila, gold margaritas. Too much. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I loved it. If you just take it as a straight off one-off movie, you don't compare it to Superman this, that and the other, and you don't compare it to the Superman magazines from the 1950s and 60s and 70s, and you don't compare it to anything these told you about, you know, Superman. And why would you? Why would you? If you're a 12-year-old boy today, why the fuck would you care about what the Superman comic said 30 years ago, or what Superman said in the 1980s? Who the fuck cares, you know what I mean? If you're a 12-year-old kid watching this movie, there's no sex in it, there's lots of violence, but that's perfectly okay, you know what I mean? That's perfectly okay for a 12-year-old kid, especially in America, you know what I mean? As long as there's no tits involved, and there's no tits, as long as there's no intercourse, there's a wee bit of kissing, that's fine. That's it, you know. People kissed. Big wow, you know. But you know what I mean? It's like, no, yeah, people get blown up and shot up and buildings fell down and people get burned to death and he walked through fire and, you know, he flew into space. I mean, 12-year-old kids love that, you know. As far as I was like, yeah, it was a perfectly fucking good fucking movie, and I don't understand why the fucking, you know, the Tamar guys, you know what I mean? And then, you know, all these other fucking, you know, online fucking, you know, we know more about movies than you do. The watchers of movies, we know more about what you know about movies, because we've watched movies for 30 years, so we know more about it. I've been watching movies for fucking 52 fucking years, right? Okay, maybe they didn't have movies up until I was 12, so let's say I've been watching movies for 40 fucking years, right? And this is a good fucking movie, you know what I mean? It's a fucking good movie. I like this movie. Typically, you will get all these assholes who are paid to fucking criticise shit, saying it's not as good as Superman this, that and the other, and it doesn't follow the Superman book story, blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, fuck you. A big fucking gigantic poker up your fucking ass, right? This movie is fucking good if you take it as the movie is. Just forget that you know anything about Superman and just watch this movie, and it's a fucking good movie. I don't know, did I say fucking enough in there, you know? Does I say prick, cunt, fucker, fucking, you know, prick, wanking, you know, movie fucking, you know, review wankers, you know what I mean? Critics. Did I say motherfucking bastard and fucking cunt shit fucking, you know, critics? Did I say that enough? I just don't know. I just wanted to make sure that I got that in there, because I can't remember where I said that enough through the whole fucking review that I've given you. But as far as I'm concerned, Man of Steel, yeah, it's a fucking pretty good movie. I would take it above fucking, you know, what do you call that fucking shit movie we just had about, you know, Star Trek. Oh yes, Into Darkness. What a piece of shit. And what about that other movie, you know, Iron Man something number, whatever, yeah. What another piece of shit that everybody fucking loved. All the critics thought were brilliant, and I thought it was like that piece of shit. Well, I say fucking, you know, Man of Steel, yeah, I'd give it an 8. Fucking big number for tersse. I'd give it a fucking 8. I loved it. I fucking loved it. I thought it was brilliant, and I would recommend it for anybody who wants to go and see a Superman movie. This would be the one that I would say go and see if you're not over the age of sort of like 22 or 23. this is the movie. This is the Superman movie for you, man. I'm fucking telling you, man. Go and watch it. It's one of you fucking van motherfuckers. And you can always be guaranteed, if Tersse says it's a movie worth watching, it's a fucking movie worth watching. Okay? And all you 12-year-olds who aren't supposed to be watching my videos because it's not PG, go and watch the fucking movie, motherfuckers. It's one of you fucking mad.